So one day you are madly in love and you simply cannot imagine your life without this person. And then the next day you're storming out of the house and blocking their number on your phone, only to end up in their arms again a few weeks later. Your relationship feels like a roller coaster. When it's good, it's great, but it never seems to stay great for long. Every high is followed by a corresponding low. And even though every time you promise yourself that it's going to be different this time around, it never is. So why do these on again, off again relationships even occur? Well, one of the reasons is that you have strong chemistry with that person, that physical connection, that physical attraction is so strong that it overwhelms the rational part of your brain. Some of it is that you see so much potential in this person, and so you're focusing on that. You see who they could be, and so you keep coming back because of that, and then you leave because they're not meeting up to that potential that you think they have. Another part of this pattern is that you're not away from them long enough to fully allow yourself to detox from the relationship. There is a dopamine rush that follows the start or the restart of a relationship. And so if you're leaving all of the time, you're feeling that withdrawal. And then every time you go back, you're getting that rush again. And if you're not away for long enough, well, that withdrawal feeling is never going to end. In on again and off again relationships, there's often an exaggeration of the good qualities of the person or the relationship and of the bad. Whereas the reality of every person and definitely of every relationship is that there are both good and bad elements at the same time. It's one big murky gray area. Another common reason that people fall into this pattern is because of loneliness. When you're in a relationship with somebody, especially if it's an intense relationship, they fill a large part of your life. And then when they leave, you feel this emptiness, this void. And there are other ways that you can fill that void, but obviously one of the easiest ways is just to plug that missing puzzle piece right back in again. Sometimes we go back to somebody because, well, they're familiar. We have a tendency to do what we've done. And so we return to something not because it fits, but because we know how it feels. Now, sometimes they may be promising to make changes. And so we believe those words, we believe those promises because we want so desperately for them to be true. But then what happens is that actions never follow those words, and then we leave again. Other times we just want so badly for things to be different. We think that maybe if we just try a little bit more or just tweak this one thing, that maybe this time, things will turn out differently. And then sometimes it's the sunk cost fallacy because we've put so much time and energy into this person that we don't want to simply throw that away and begin again with somebody new. A lot of times there's a fear of starting over. It's scary to put yourself out there, to be vulnerable, to have that beginner's mindset again in a relationship. And so it's a lot easier to be with somebody that already knows you and has already accepted you. Sometimes there's a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth. You believe that nobody else is going to want you. And so in those periods when it's off again, you start to panic, thinking, this person loved me, nobody else will. And so you go back because even though it's not a great fit, at least they'll take you in. And then finally, anything can become a habit. And so once you've done this pattern for long enough, it just becomes normal. So what are some of the problems with an on again, off again relationship? Well, for most people, this pattern is agonizing because one of the things that we all want in our relationships is a sense of security and trust. And that is all but impossible when the bottom seems to fall out on a regular basis. Sometimes this pattern is actually hiding a deeper problem. Oftentimes, one or both of the partners are actually using this as a way to run or hide from their issues instead of truly addressing them. And when that happens, growth isn't happening. And then finally, when you're in this pattern, all of your energy is focused on those intense highs and plummeting lows. And there just isn't any energy left over to do the real work of a relationship. You deserve a true relationship. Somebody who is with you on the good days and on the bad days. You deserve somebody who loves you and is committed to you. And that may be this person, or it may be time to let them go and make space for someone new. So how can you tell the difference? Well, here are some signs that maybe you should give it another chance. Consider how much time has passed. If it's only been a few weeks, well, nothing has changed. But if it has been months or especially years, then there may have been some significant changes that have occurred. And it could be that when you come together this time, that you're coming together as new people, as people that have learned and grown from whatever has happened in the past. Also, if it's only a short period, you're still operating from a place of scarcity. You're still just trying to fill that void of what you have just lost. But if it has been a significant amount of time, well, you have found other ways to fill that void in your life. And so you're no longer looking to this person to make you whole, to fill those needs within you. Instead, you're looking for them to join your life and to complement what you already have. So both partners share responsibility and the on-again, off-again pattern. And in order for this to transition into a mature and healthy relationship, both people have to take responsibility for their own stuff and be taking the actions in order to improve upon it. And all of that takes time. If you rush back into things, those changes are probably superficial and temporary. And finally, another sign that it may be worth a try is that you are both viewing this as a chance to rebuild the relationship from the beginning. That you're not picking back up where you left off. Instead, you're starting over again and growing and building in a new and healthy way. Okay, so what are some of the signs then that it's time to end it? Well, if your relationship has started to feel like Groundhog Day, where it is just a constant repeat of the exact same thing, there's probably not going to be any change that's going to occur. Those patterns have become well-worn grooves, and trying to change them with that same person can be all but impossible. Words alone are not enough to bind a relationship. If the words are all good, but the actions are all bad, well, then it's just a relationship of smoke and mirrors. And then finally, a sign that it's time to end it is if your happiness is completely dependent upon the relationship. If you find that your happiness is going up and down with the status of the relationship, it's time to step away. You can't build a happy relationship at the same time you're dependent upon that relationship to make you happy. Find your happy first, and then find somebody that complements that.